We all look to the horizon when we feel danger coming. It's just instinct. But we rarely look down or expect the deadly force of nature to come from the ground beneath our feet. We're taught to think of the ground as solid and as safe. That may be one small reason that even though everyone in Nepal had heard that an earthquake was coming, still, no one was prepared.
जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि यो काठमाडौँका विभिन्न भागहरुमा चाहिँ एकदमै ठूलो धुवाको त्यो धुलोको मुस्लोहरु देखिन्थ्यो र त्यसबाट मैले त्यसपछि चाहिँ नि काठमाडौँमा एक प्रकारको चाहिँ एकदमै अक्रान्त वातावरण भयो।
Every aftershock, more buildings collapsed. Everyone moved outside, and that's where many have stayed. Kathmandu's few remaining spaces are now filled with tent cities. That's where Maggie Palmer met a little girl named Ansika.
Namaste. Namaste. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Namaste.
Namaste.
Australia. Where are you from?
Here.
Here?
Yeah.
Are you staying here?
Yeah, I'm staying here.
Do you want to show me your tent?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
We go with you? Okay.
Ansika is 10 years old. She loves reading, jumping, and running. This is her new backyard.
Do you remember when the earthquake happened?
Yeah, I was in the road, and it was all I was shaking, and I fell down also there. They told earthquake, all were running. Somebody were not wearing clothes and only wearing panty and running also.
She and her family are among almost 3 million Nepali people who've been displaced.
It's too dangerous, no? So I'm staying here. 5-6 days, I think so, we stay here.
What she doesn't realise is that it's likely to be much, much longer. Ansika's still in primary school, but even she knows the response on the ground has been inadequate.
We need help, but nobody are supporting us. At night it was raining, so we are wet.
Her auntie feels like the Nepali government has failed its people.
अब यो हाम्रो देशको सरकार भनेको चाहिँ एकदमै मतलब नाजुक अवस्थाको भनौं न राजनीति नेताहरू चाहिँ धेरै छ तर अब देशलाई सपोर्टिङ गर्ने अब देशको निम्ति चाहिँ चिन्तित हुने एउटा चाहिँ भावनात्मक हृदय भएको चाहिँ नेताहरू चाहिँ देशमा चाहिँ नभएको।
Even though Nepal has roughly the same population as Australia, there's no local or state governments here. Nepal's politicians can't even manage to agree on a constitution, so there's not much in the way of emergency planning here. People are used to being self-reliant, and this cleanup's no different. Volunteers from all walks of life form a human chain, an impromptu production line to move the rubble, the tons and tons of rubble.
You see little shoes, little kids' shoes. I mean, these are all people's clothes, no?
I'm in the area known as the Old Town of Kathmandu. It was a famous World Heritage Site. Last time I was in Nepal, I came here as a tourist, admiring the impressive temples. How quickly things can change. On the day of the quake, there was a blood donation clinic set up in the temple that stood here. No one knows how many people were inside.
We think that somebody is buried over here. We can smell the dead body. We are trying to save the people. If we can't, we want to give their dead bodies to their respective family. That's it.
It's dirty, dusty, tiring work. This lady had to be helped by paramedics at the site after collapsing from exhaustion. The Prime Minister came to this site to visit the volunteers, but it didn't feel like he was entirely welcomed. Locals were yelling at him to go away, saying, "We want to go back to work."
What would you like to say to the international community?
He didn't stay long. The country's politicians have plenty to answer for.
You had lots of warning that something like this might happen.
Yes.
Do you feel that the city was prepared?
Not at all.
Gagan Thapa is a politician, a member of the ruling party who is nevertheless sharply critical of his own government for not preparing for the inevitable and making short-sighted decisions like housing their search and rescue squad in one of Kathmandu's oldest buildings.
In the very first tremor, 15 of the policemen jumped from 3-story building because the building collapsed. And other rescuers, they were, I mean, of course, the first thing they did was that they rescued their colleagues. Look at the place where they were living, where they were staying. The oldest house here in Kathmandu, abandoned house. And I mean, look at the preparedness, or I mean, the mindset of the government and the policymakers.
When tragedy struck, Gagan Thapa didn't turn to his colleagues. Instead, he rushed out to buy every tent he could find, 200 in total, then organized volunteers to distribute them. Ad hoc groups of local Nepali volunteers have provided most of what little relief has come to date. But without any large-scale state coordination, most areas in Nepal have still received no help at all.
Completely a coordination failure.
A complete failure to
coordinate, to rescue, to response, and of course, we're even failing in this stage of relief.
It wasn't long until foreign volunteers started flooding into Kathmandu's primitive airport. Amongst them were Red Cross rescue teams and a group of Nepali Australian nurses. They've flown themselves all the way from Australia to help with the relief effort. But their medical supplies don't arrive, and no one can seem to tell them where to begin.
Maybe tomorrow then we can organize what we're gonna do about picking up the luggage, number one. Then maybe after that we'll head to Sindhupalchok.
पछि चाहिँ इमिडिएटली चाहिँ नि विदेशबाट चाहिँ नेसनल एन्ड इन्टरनेसनल सपोर्ट धेरै आयो त्यो मध्ये धेरै सपोर्ट पनि एयरपोर्टमा 2-3 दिनसम्म त्यतिकै अड्किएर बसेको र गभर्नमेन्टको निकायहरूले त्यसलाई क्लियर गर्न नसकेको देखिन्छ.
Kamal is a journalist for the Kathmandu Post. Their office was wrecked in the quake, and now Kamal and his colleagues are working out of tents set up next door to their printing press. Kamal says that the uncoordinated rush of foreign aid may have actually slowed relief getting to survivors.
आफ्नो कन्ट्रीहरुको बढी प्रचार गर्ने, बढी क्रेडिट लिने.
We are in contact with the governor of that district, so he is trying to fix us where we will be.
The next day, the Australian nurses are still struggling to find a place to volunteer. They end up at a mobile army hospital set up by the Chinese government, whose border is just over 100 kilometers away.
We brought all the equipment, medical equipment from China, including the DR, we call the removable digital X-ray machine.
All over Nepal, where local authorities fail, we see Chinese troops appearing in their place. The Chinese medics' arrival means that there's now little for the Australian nurses to do here. They simply tour the medical unit. The people being treated here are mostly from one of the districts hit hardest by the earthquake, the remote area of Sindhi Palchuak. Sabina Giri is 17 years old. Her father died 6 years ago, and her mother just died in the earthquake.
छरछिमेकमा भन्नुपर्दा हाम्रो घरहरु सब हाम्रो 5 वटा कि 6 वटा घर थियो घर सब भत्कियो अनि हामी 5 जना चाहिँ घाइते भयौं 3 जना चाहिँ लास भयो हाम्रो हामीसँग परेको बहिनी एक जना चाहिँ बित्यो अनि वस्तु भाउहरु गाई गोरुहरु सब मर्यो त्यस्तै हो घरहरु चाहिँ एउटा सधैं छैन.
The drive to Sindhi Palchuak winds for hours through vast hills and remote villages that right now have almost no connection with the outside world. When we finally arrive, the scene is indeed overwhelming. Rural Nepali towns like this will likely never be the same. But every so often, you do see a smile.
अब बाँची भागी मानि छु जस्तो लाग्यो अब भाउन कोही कता हुन्थ्यो दुईटी आमा छोरी त्यहाँ मरिन्थ्यो होला हैन
पाँचजना यसलाई हामीले यहीँबाट निकाल्यौं त्यसपछि अब त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको फर्स्ट क्वेक सिद्धिने बित्तिकै फर्स्ट क्वेक सिद्धिने बित्तिकै हामीले चाहिँ यहाँबाट पाँचजना निकाल्यौं अब परमदाइले धेरै नै हेल्प.
My heart nearly stops when Chatara climbs back inside the same building for a moment. I can't tell if he's fearless or still in shock.
उहाँले चाहिँ नजिक दिनु भयो भए आर्मी आउँदा मरिसक्थ्यौं 15 मिनेट पछि आउनु भयो उहाँहरु.
The sickeningly sweet smell of death hangs heavy in the air here, especially as I pass a destroyed house where Chinese responders are digging.
धेरै रेस्क्यु टिमहरु आए पनि त्यो रेस्क्यु टिमहरुलाई चाहिँ नि सरकारले समयमा त्यहाँ नपठाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि धेरै रेस्क्यु गर्न सकिने मान्छेहरुलाई पनि हामीले रेस्क्यु गरेनौं भन्ने एउटा लाग्छ.
It's my job to witness things, to stand there and watch. And that can be an awful thing to have to do. Eventually, 2 bodies are dragged from the rubble. A mother and son who were not lucky enough to be rescued.
The painstaking search is also continuing in the city. We see rescue crews from around the world descending on Nepal. This small country sits on a geopolitical fault line, sandwiched between 2 superpowers, India and China. Both are providing welcome assistance whilst hoping to maintain their influence, even in times of disaster.
The local people told us that there are 3 dead bodies under the building, so we try to get more information. First, we used the dog to search.
It's tough, dangerous work. Very occasionally, they're rewarded with a miracle survivor. One international crew had searched this site and cleared it, ready for demolition. But they were wrong. As the bulldozers moved in, they heard screams. So rescuers worked late into the night and finally pulled out a young woman alive after 5 days trapped. Nepal told some countries not to bother sending search and rescue teams, confident that they had it under control. I can't help but think if extra help had arrived, maybe some more people might have been saved. Cameraman Dave Ollier and I are filming in this middle-class neighbourhood in Kathmandu when we meet Krishna and his brother.
Krishna.
Krishna,
Yes,
good to
yes, ma'am.
meet you. Good to meet you.
Okay, thank you.
Krishna's studying accounting and lives with his parents and siblings. We go with him as he heads home for the first time since the disaster.
And where were you when the earthquake actually hit?
I was in my home, in the 5th floor of my home, you know. Like,
5th floor?
Yeah.
Really?
My home got shaken, you know, after the earthquake, so
Yeah.
we had to rush downwards. But yet we survived. All of our
Yeah.
family members are fine.
Wow.
Even nobody is injured.
Really?
Yes, I'm happy with it.
And so
Thi-
your
this
house
is, this is my home.
Which colour? Which one is it?
This white.
We head inside and up to the 5th floor. Krishna tells me the property is totally fine, but he admits it's not yet been properly assessed.
So you haven't been up here yet, have you?
No, ma'am. No, not yet. I'm just here right now,
So
along with you.
So is it confronting to see all the mess you've got to?
Ma'am, obviously. Obviously, but we are happy that no human lives were lost on our part, you know.
Krishna says he feels like the government should have planned for this better. Nepal sits on top of a known fault line. Seismic experts have been saying for years that a disaster of this magnitude was inevitable. And yet there's no enforced building code in the country. They introduced one in 2001, but it's not even compulsory.
Now I think governments should implement new building code so that there won't be such damages if any near earthquake happens to be here in our country.
Next door to his house and all around the city, damaged building demolition is beginning. It's risky and can cause further collapses, but we weren't expecting that to happen just next to us.
Dave, are you okay? Dave! Dave, go! What happened? Oh my God. Are you okay? Okay? You okay? Okay, so we were just with the Chinese search and rescue team, and we heard a building collapse. We don't know what's happened, but it wasn't fun. Is everyone okay? Krishna, are you okay? Are you all right? What just happened?
No, nothing.
You okay?
Actually, you know, they were searching for debris there, and when they pulled out something, something collapsed. So.
Are you shaking? I'm shaking.
Okay.
Everyone's very on edge here.
Yes.
There've been aftershocks at night, during the day, and when we're in here filming these parts of the disaster zone, we're always conscious of, especially buildings like this that are leaning over, because we know that it doesn't take much for it to fall over, and that was a bit too close for comfort.
The locals' nerves are tougher than mine. A collapse of yet another building as you're walking by is nothing compared to what this community and this country has lost. We head to another town in the Kathmandu Valley. Amidst this destruction, signs of life. I see people returning to their houses, slowly, cautiously, retrieving whatever they can. Nature's lottery is cruel. Seemingly untouched homes side by side with rubble.
My positive feeling is like nothing is permanent in this world, everything is temporary. So like this earthquake is also temporary, soon we'll rebuild it, and I have some positive feeling also about that earthquake will also not last forever.
There hasn't even been time or space on holy ground to put the more than 7,000 dead to rest. And living amongst all these precarious buildings will be like living in a minefield for a long while to come. And yet Kamal seems somehow undaunted when he talks about the days ahead.
असर चाहिँ नेपालको अर्थतन्त्रमा चाहिँ नि अर्को 10 वर्षसम्म पर्ने म देख्छु नेपालको एजुकेसन टुरिज्म इकोनोमी ओभरअल इकोनोमीमा चाहिँ ठुलो असर गर्ने देख्छु म
And there are signs that some normalcy may be returning. Even the tent camps that sprang up on every patch of open land, they're starting to thin out.
Walking around, you hear the sounds of children laughing and playing. They're making their own fun. Schools are closed until further notice. They can't open soon enough for Ansika. She has big plans.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be doctor.
Doctor. Why is that?
Because we can help the sick people.
Her country's future is uncertain and her family's housing predicament will take a while to fix. But Ansika's vision remains clear.
We should study hard and be kind and help others.
I suppose I shouldn't have been so surprised when I opened up the Kathmandu Post the next morning and found, modestly placed amongst the photos of the devastation, some familiar words. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.